Starting any piece of writing is hard. Getting from a blank page to some words on that page is a challenge no matter what genre we're writing in, but it feels like it's a particular challenge when we're writing about ourselves. In a personal essay or a personal statement, the stakes feel high. We're revealing something about ourselves. We are showing something that we might not ordinarily show. And in the case of a personal statement for high school or college admissions, we're also hoping to introduce ourselves in a way that impresses someone, in a way that will make them want to say, "Come on in, we're going to be glad to have you." So today I want to share with you my favorite strategy for starting a personal essay, and it's one that lots of writers employ. Today's writing move is a scene drop action pair. Let's take a look at some of our mentors from this personal essay unit trying a scene drop action pair. While looking the other way, I rammed into the back of her car. That's from Carrie Klein for the New York Times. Irina Duminescu writes, "It is 9 a.m. on a Saturday, and I am sitting in a little wooden boat with my son. He's fidgety, restless with excitement, practically bouncing against the large metal bar on our laps. A bell rings and we begin moving in a circle, slowly at first, following the swells and dips of the waves." And finally, Joanne Beard, writing for The New Yorker, writes, "The collie wakes me up about 3 times a night, summoning me from a great distance as I row my boat through a dim, complicated dream. She's on the shoreline barking, 'Wake up.'" So, did you already notice a pattern there? Did you already notice how those writers are beginning their essays? Let's take a look at some of the features we can notice in a scene drop action pair. The first thing I notice, of course, is that we are right in the middle of the story from the get-go. There's no context, there's no background, there's no lead up to the action. We are bloop, dropped right into the middle of the action. It's as if we were dreaming and we open our eyes and we're there in the middle of the story already happening around us. While looking the other way, I rammed into the back of her car, right? Or it's 9 a.m. and I'm sitting on a little wooden boat. The action has already started when we arrive. The collie wakes me up. Already, we're in the middle of something happening. Something else I notice are these pairs of actions. While looking, I rammed. So 2 things are happening, right? She's looking and then she rams her car. It is 9 a.m. and I am sitting on a boat. 2 things are happening simultaneously. It is 9 a.m. in the morning and she is sitting in a little wooden boat. We also see this in the Joanne Beard. The collie wakes me up as I row my boat. So the collie is barking and she's in her dream rowing. Now, do the actions have to happen in pairs? No. And you can find lots of personal essays where there's just one action at the beginning of a scene drop. However, I like these pairs because it really feels like you are in the midst of a lot of action going on at once. It immediately arrests the reader and stops them in their tracks and grabs their attention because they have to keep up with all that's happening in the scene. I think it's a really nice trick that adds sophistication. I also noticed that in a scene drop action pair beginning of an essay, there are all of these sensory details, right? And that's true of any great story. We talked about that as a strategy for exploding a moment, but I want you to notice that they happen right here at the very beginning of the essay. While looking the other way, I rammed into the back of her car. That's a really specific word choice, right? Evoking that sense of physical feeling and touch, not just hitting or bumping or tapping your car, but ramming into the back of the car. We see Irina's son being fidgety and bouncing, and we get to hear a bell rings. All of these things, what can we see? What can we hear? What can we feel? In Joanne Beard's piece, we see the dim, complicated dream. We get that hazy sensory feeling of fogginess and dimness. and we hear the dog barking. So, in your personal essay, where can you cut out the context, cut out the background, cut out the lead up, and just drop your reader right in the middle of an action? Where could you create an action pair? Two things are happening simultaneously, which gets our reader into the scene even more and immerses them in your world, in the story that you're telling. Where could you use sensory details? Right off the bat, what you see, what you hear, what you feel, maybe what you smell. Where could you use those sensory details in the first couple sentences of your personal essay to, again, start your reader off in this rich, immersive storytelling environment where you're going to get to show off your best self? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe so that you don't miss any mini moves for writers.